Hey, how you doing this evening? Don't know how long this will go, but I'll give it a try. A little one-sided though if you don't talk to. Hey, Monroe, how you doing this evening? Hey, Martina. It's kind of late for you, isn't it? Hey, John Quinn from the land down under. You want to set me up with a nice woman? Yeah, Martina, I've done a few of them lately. Well, I was doing them for a while, then I quit doing them when I went and caught that sinus cold and couldn't hardly talk or without coughing. I still have spells once in a while where I get to coughing and stuff and can't do anything. Name don't sound familiar. Why do you think she's perfect for me? Hey, Josh. Good place for him, Josh. Although there's probably a lot of people down here, just like the girls in the Philippines, that like to see the snow. I don't know about the last name. Where is she from? I was going to say, there's another girl I've seen on here with a similar first name. I don't know if it's her or not. And she's from, I don't know, North Carolina, South Carolina, somewhere in that direction. I just can't place ever seen her before. But every once in a while, there's people that'll be in the lives that I'm not familiar with, and then it don't stick with me. Josh, with all this going on with the convoy and stuff, I'm surprised at how many people I've talked to just recently didn't even know it was happening. They were completely oblivious to it, didn't know what was going on. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one either, Monroe. If you just type the link, Martinez, it didn't show. Type it again. Well, that's her link. She can't be all bad if she's got 6.9K subs. Hey, Deborah. Martina, it's okay if you kick John out now. Now, this is strange the way I did that. It's showing she has a wrench, but her name's still White. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen her before, but I'm not sure. Deborah, if you're talking to me, I'm doing fair. I was going to start this earlier, but I started coughing again, so I didn't do it. I just get them spells every once in a while. Ken, I did it just before I started this. I didn't want it to go out while I was sitting here. It's only supposed to be down to 40 tonight, but I figure I'll use that instead of running my other heat. Well, John, there's a lot of them on here, I'll tell you. There's too many of them on here that's got half a dozen girlfriends and just what they can get out of each one of them. So why didn't you try for her, John? Or are you saying you aren't a good guy? Ken, are the girls out shopping already? 9:30 in the morning there. Get out so they can be first in line for the sales. You better start doing some online checking there and find you 2 cargo ships. I didn't know you was married, John. I don't think I've ever heard you mention that before. You know, that's why I say you need to be checking on them because you don't want to get down the last minute and can't get that second one. Okay, John. Yeah, and the other thing, Ken, that always gets me is how slow the shipping and stuff is over there. Because like when that girl Ella went back from the U.S. and she spent time in Makati in quarantine, she said that her boat ride to go back down to Negros was going to be 24 hours. Hi, Sammy. How you been today, Sammy? I asked how you were doing today. You got a dog now? I didn't think you had one before, so you must have just got one. Hey, Filipino. No, what, you did a video on it or a live stream or something? I hadn't seen it. John, Maureen, and Karina are both out keeping all the local business people in business. They're buying out the stores. Okay. Later, Sammy. Hey, Jim. It all melted. But you know that ice I had out there, it still hadn't completely melted off at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. It never warmed up enough to really just make it melt. Yeah, I keep saying I want to do one, Martina, and I keep forgetting to set it up so I can start it that way. And I just go into YouTube without thinking. I've had several people say they'd like to come up on the panel that way. I'm not one, to sing or anything, but I know a bunch of you others are. Yeah, I saw that, Josh, and I've never seen where to do that when I've done them. Never paid attention to it really, because usually it either's made for kids or not made for kids. which is a different. Well, actually, Jim, I'm a fork and knife kind of guy. But I did see, Josh, that they had marked yours age restricted, but I don't know how to do it either. Deborah, I think Sammy already left. She didn't stay too long. Oh, yeah, I don't even know if I could do that. I've never tried. I've always thought I'd like to be able to play different instruments too, but never been able to do that either. Martina, for the most part, yes. I mean, I'm in a small community, kind of like your communities in the province. So, I mean, I've got people around, and most of them, for the majority of the time, are quiet. But we got some young people in here that sometimes just forget about everybody else. And they race up and down the road in the four wheelers or the motorbikes or whatever. We had one guy that I think he's moved the other in the neighborhood now. I don't see or hear much of him anymore. But every night he'd go out there and work on his bike, and he'd just sit there and rev hell out of it. And it would miss and spit and sputter and pop and whatnot. And then he'd get on it and he'd race up the road, probably 50 miles an hour, right straight through the stop sign. And this was after dark. I kept expecting that some night he'd do that and somebody would be going the other direction and would clobber him. Well, this neighborhood here has changed a lot since I've been here. I mean, I've been here for 39 years maybe. But when I first moved here, the neighborhood was, I would bet, 99% retired people. And probably 95% of them were snowbirds. They were here in Florida in the wintertime. Then in the summer, when it's warm here, they went back north or wherever they were from. So in the summertime, it was really quiet here. But as a lot of them have got older and can't travel back and forth, or got older and passed away, a lot of young people have moved in, and it's changed the neighborhood so much. Yeah, I think I'm older than anybody else here, Martina. I've been around for a little while. But with the younger people stuff coming in, that also brought in the ones that brought the drugs, and it brought in the ones that were uh, the thieves and whatnot. Sean, what do you mean a de-restricted area? Yeah, it's getting to be that way all over the world. Okay, Josh. I mean, I've never understood what they get out of it, messing their mind up and stuff for whatever time it lasts and stuff like that. Well, he had one way to control it when he, I mean, they've always had the policy over there that, it was death to drug dealers. When you flew into the Philippines, the declaration form that you had to fill out for anything, you was bringing into the country and stuff, it was printed right across the middle of it in red that, that same, thing there, death to drug dealers. But then when he became president, he kind of made open season on them. Oh, yeah, that's kind of, I can't think of the name of it, housing authority or whatever. That's not what I want. I wouldn't live in a place like that. I wouldn't want to be like that. I mean, out here, I mean, like I said, the kids are running up and down the roads with the four wheelers and bikes and stuff, and people go out in their backyard and shoot their guns off and whatever. Well, that's true, but I had an aunt and uncle that lived in one of those places one time, and they talked about that. They had the area had somebody that was paid to comes in and mows your yard for you and whatever, but they weren't allowed to hang, their clothes outside to dry. Uh, they couldn't have certain types of furniture, lawn chair type stuff on their front porch. They couldn't leave lawn chairs out in the yard. And I just don't like being told what I can and can't do, on my own property. When I lived up in New York, there was a yeah, 8 o'clock's a little early. I can see a later time than that, quieting it down, but eight's a little early. But there was a guy in New York that lived down the road from us there that was out burning a bunch of brush or whatever in his yard one time. The fire department shows up and started telling him that he couldn't do that and he couldn't do this and whatnot. And the guy just told the fire department, he says, "Who pays the taxes on this piece of property? Get your ass out of here." Yeah, I think what the name I was trying to think of before is like a homeowners association or something. And they even run into people that way with having problems. You can't paint your house a certain color. There's been people that have had trouble with that same thing, that they weren't allowed to fly their flag out in the front yard. They're a former military vet, but they couldn't fly their flag. There's a lot of them people that, you give them a little bit of authority and it goes to their head. Yeah, they're already deaf and can't hear, so that's why their music is so loud. We've got a few of them. Same with the ones that wander up and down the roads here with the old boom box. That's coming back again. There's a lot of them like that when they're playing their music, I can hear it here louder than what I would care to listen to if I was playing it. So just imagine what it's like at their place. Or the same thing, the ones driving down the road having it that loud in their vehicle. Well, in the cemetery, it'd be quiet. And you never have a neighbor arguing with you in the cemetery. Well, that's the same thing I keep saying with some of them here, because you hear someone once in a while get into an argument, somebody will be shooting a gun and whatnot, and I keep saying, well, maybe one of them will shoot the other, and we'll get rid of two. The one that got shot, we'll get rid of him, and the one that did the shooting will end up in jail. We'll get rid of that one. Yeah, but it's not the elderly people that are making the noise and stuff. The other thing I used to do, the other place I lived in, had some neighbors over there that wanted to party and stuff, way, way late in the night and always really loud. I would just get up early the next morning and go out, and either I had a big diesel farm tractor I used to do stuff with. I'd either go out and run that, and grade the road because we live on dirt roads, or get out my chainsaw and start cutting wood or whatever, first thing in the morning. Wake them up when they wanted to sleep in. Okay, Jim, catch you later. Hey, Rena. Hey, Mike. I know. You're only here because Rena dragged you. My neighbors right beside me have 3 pit bulls. They had a big male they had to have put down recently. He was getting old. Was getting real bad health problems. Marina, Ken and I were talking about you and Marina a while ago. We figured you both out shopping already. He decided a cargo ship wasn't going to be enough to take marine stuff home. He's going to have to order 2. No, that's not my name, John. But I do that once in a while too. Martina beat me to it. I'll mix up people's names. Like a minute ago, there I called Marine Rena. Yeah, my real name is David. Rena's real name is Cleopatra. But sometimes she uses Goldilocks. Hey, Chi, you changed your channel name again. Yeah, Martina, I have to keep on to Arena. She's always spending money. I think she owns the Bank of the Philippines. Yeah, Martina, one time here a while back when Rena went shopping, they had to take 2 jeepneys to bring all of her stuff to the house. She couldn't carry it all. Now she has Maureen carry part of them, and then act like they're hers. Now, Martina, I just pay a couple people to follow her around, keep tabs on her for me. They tell me what she's doing. Well, I wanted to save some of her money for when she comes to the U.S. It could help our economy over here. But she's spending it all in the Philippines. She'll have to get 3 cargo ships to bring all of her stuff over here. And I'll bet half the clothes that she's bought still have the tags on them. But they look nice hanging in the closet. Oh, yeah. I can still use Western Union. I've gotten lazy, though, when using PayPal lately. It's easier. But I have a Western Union Gold card. No, Rena, they said that you wouldn't use your fork and knife, so they're not going to let you back in. The time here, John, is just 12 hours difference or 13 hours difference in the Philippines. It's almost 9 p.m. 8:58. Yeah, if she gets good with that fork and knife, she'll even be able to cut the fish heads off and throw them away. Hey, half-wit. That way, when she's cooking the fish, you won't have eyeballs looking at you. I can't think who's live. I was on a while back there, and the kids are fighting over who's going to get to eat the eyeballs. Well, I understand you have problems with that, Rena, but I also, too, I'm going to throw out an idea at you. Part of it being that, you're short. If you're sitting down too low and reaching up like this to try to do stuff on the table, that will hurt your shoulders. It used to bother my mom just to hang clothes. It bothered her shoulders. She always hung them outside to dry down here, in Florida because of being warm. And it bothered her shoulders that way. She finally, Dad told her just go buy a clothes dryer. Ken, I always thought that'd be a good business to own them storage lockers that way. You don't have much work to do with them other than just upkeep. Collect the money every month just there, for rent. I don't know, Josh. She was on live earlier. She only did a short live earlier there because she was cutting up a jackfruit. I'm not familiar with Arena, but John and Martina says I should check her out. It was 33 here this morning. It's supposed to be 40 tonight. And then it's warming up through the rest of the week. Friday's supposed to be clear up to 82 Friday afternoon. And next week's going to go back down again. Let me see. Martina, tonight is going to be 4 Celsius here. So it's going to be colder here than what it's going to be for you. Rena, I don't know who she is either. They're just telling me about her. There's a lot of times, Josh, that mine is slow like that. Because when other people are doing live streams and I'm just in the chat, they'll be reading the comments before I ever see them. And if I type something and send it, it'll show in my chat that was there before other people's comments, but they read theirs first because they got theirs before they did mine. But as long as it don't get cold enough to snow here, I guess I'll survive. I don't remember if it was in, I don't know if I did a live the other day. I was going to say if it was in a live I did the other day, or if it was in one of my videos I did. I was talking about my, it was my video, the morning of the frost, that I was talking about my AC unit out here, my heat. Rena, I don't know her. I've never seen her before. They just told me about her tonight. I don't know who she is. But my heat unit out here at night when it was running, when it was so cold, it kept freezing up, and it would frost right over, and it'd have to recycle stuff and run the other direction to thaw itself back out and defrost. This morning when I went up to put the neighbor lady's trash out for her, I noticed the outside of hers was covered with frost. The damn humidity's so high here, and when it gets cold to run them, they just ice up, and then they don't put any heat out. And then it'll turn around and cycle itself and run backwards to defrost itself. Well, it does that by drawing heat out of the house to defrost it, and then when it's doing that, then it's bringing cold air back in the house. Now the humidity here right now is only 67%, but the other morning when I did that short video, they're showing the frost and stuff. The humidity outside was 80% that morning. Well, Martina, I lived in New York there for 28 years and dealt with the snow every winter up there. It didn't bother me when I was there because I was used to it, but I really don't miss it now other than like at Christmas time. And I I definitely don't miss having to shovel it anymore. And I can't take that cold like I used to. You're making Maureen do the cooking. She does the dishes. She carries your shopping. You're making a regular maid out of her. You'll have to put her on your payroll. John, my subs have been staying pretty steady for a long time. They'll go up several, then they go down. They'll go up several, and they go down. I think too many people are trying to sub to me, in Ninja accounts or whatever, and then YouTube takes them away. But before I ever did my first video, I had 200 subs. But I kind of look at it as I don't care. I didn't get into this to be a big channel or make money or whatever. I just started off having fun with it and got talked into doing some videos and live stream. Oh, John, you don't like Red Horse. I know that. I already heard the only thing you drink is Kool-Aid. Really, Josh? I've always wondered about that because I see a lot of people doing these silent lives at night and stuff. Well, I didn't think you got any watch hours if there wasn't anybody on them. I started doing a live one night a while back, and it was only a short one because I got coughing and couldn't keep going. But it was when everybody else was doing lives and nobody was there. So when I got all done, you looked at the markings on it. I had more time in doing it than what I had watch hours. Well, I'm glad you came, Martina. That's what I said when you first got here. It was late for you because you're 5 hours ahead of me. Well, that's good, Josh. Because that one I did, like I said, that nobody showed up on. My watch hours was half the time that I was even on. Josh, I just got an email from IJ. She didn't know I was live, so she must not got notification. Before they moved, Ruby down there in Mindanao used to do the street food barbecue chicken every day. And before she finished it, each night she was sold out. You wouldn't think that many people would stop and buy the stuff, but she sold out every day. Yeah, but John, if stuff is fixed right, you get down to the point you say meat is meat, regardless of what it is. A lot of the things that people say they don't eat like or would never eat, it's just something in the back of their mind that says they shouldn't, like a dog. The Pekingese dog was originally raised by the Chinese for food. Now everybody here has them as pets. Never seen that one yet, Ken. Years ago, there was one of the local bars up in New York where I lived at. The guy that owned it had I don't remember what holiday it was, whether it was for New Year's or when it was, but he set out a buffet type deal for everybody that came in. And he had all kinds of strange animal food on it, that he cooked. And Josh, she emailed me a package of snow. But I also don't use, Instagram or Facebook or any of that stuff, so that's the only way she can get a hold of me. Do you want me to talk slower so you can catch up? Must be the cold weather up there slowing down the signal. Yeah. Yeah, if you'd done that the last couple of nights, you could have went ahead and done it. Sent it by mail because it was cold enough it wouldn't have melted before it got delivered. Yeah. And I don't know whether to say that's your internet or that's YouTube. It could be either one. There's IJ. IJ, Josh's internet is lagging on him tonight, so we can talk about him and then leave before he figures out what we said. Well, that's what I just told Josh, that you probably didn't get it. I mean, you didn't know I was on. Josh, I had to take him away from everybody because IJ was deleting everybody in the chat. Everybody that came here, she deleted them, told them to go to her channel. Yeah, she can be a troublemaker at times. She says that, she's short enough, she thinks she just flies under the radar. Hey, Alomna. Martina said she was forwarding this to you. I see that, Ken. Martina had said she was going to forward my link to her. Well, what I always tell people in the other chats when they ask for the wrench like that, I said, okay, you're the new guy. So you're on the night shift mechanic. If the host breaks down on the road, you're the one that's got to go out and fix the car. Yeah, she's here, Martina. She was complaining you woke her up. She was having a nice sleep. Said it's all your fault. Did you eat that whole dish full, IJ? John and Martina is going to have us married before they leave. She was on her live or somebody else's? Well, any one of those three dishes look like they'd be too much to eat at one time. Yeah, the last few times I've seen Myron on, it seemed like he only had like 3 people or whatever on his. Okay, Alona, thank you. Martina gave me the link to your channel. I'll check it later. So did you, IJ, did you share that or did you just eat it by yourself? Well, Josh, if you're talking about Myron, he pretty much just says what he thinks and don't care who he pisses off. Okay, so you eat it by yourself then. All right, good night, Martina. That's all right, Alona. I always tell everybody, it don't matter. Say what you do. If we don't understand, we'll ask. Well, yeah, but a lot of times the ones that start the drama have a crowd that just follows them just to join in or watch or whatever, anyways. Well, that could be. I don't use Facebook, John. I stopped at somebody else's live stream earlier today, and they had it titled, it said nighttime quiet or something. I don't remember, but it was a silent one, and it'd been on for like 44 minutes, and there wasn't a single person that made a comment that whole time. So hers was definitely a silent one. Well, I'm only 16. Can't you tell? Yeah, no swearing, no arguments. Yeah, I don't go to them and don't stay to them and whatever. I won't support them. I just figure, that that's kind of the cheating way to build your channel, but compared to those that actually work at it to do it. The same as those that have the contest and stuff like that, that you can win 10 watch hours or whatever stuff they do it. I don't even go to those channels anymore. I've done it before and actually won them different times, and I'll get that stuff that day. The next day, YouTube takes it away again. Oh no, sink full of dirty dishes. I just put them in the dishwasher, IJ. And I've had times that I've gone to those like that, and like I say, and have won it, where I've gotten the watch hours and um, the views and whatever. And then when YouTube would take them away, they take away more than I won. You're just sometimes playing a losing game when you start trying to beat YouTube. Wash the dishes. Well, she could put them in the clothes washing machine. Maybe a little hard on it when it goes to spin, but that's correct, Josh. And you can't explain that to a lot of people. They don't believe you when you tell them, but most of them won't go read the community guidelines to tell you all that stuff. The same thing with those that want to keep dropping their link or plastering the chat full of emojis and stuff like that. It all comes under spam with YouTube, and they remove it. And as far as, everybody says, well, you got to drop your link for somebody to do it. Well, they can look it up just as well as you can post it. If they seriously want to go to yours, they'll do it. If you're just putting it there like that, they don't care whether they, sub you or not. And the way YouTube prints it is any link that is posted that does not pertain to the host channel or to the subject of the chat is considered spam. So if you're posting your own channel, that's spam. If you're posting other people's channel links, same thing. Now, if you're talking about, say, the typhoon in the Philippines, and you post a link about the typhoon, that's related to the subject of the chat. So that's not considered spam then. I've seen live streams before. There was one OFW there that used to let people do that. She'd make everybody a moderator, and they would just keep repeatedly posting their links. And she had 2 of them in 1 week that YouTube shut it down and deleted it. Didn't even leave it in her channel. They deleted it and sent her an email that they were removed because of excessive spam links. And then in her next live stream, she made the comment, I don't know why they deleted it. Well, they told you why. There's a lot of the people anymore that are doing the premieres and stuff, and they get a group that comes in that just fills the chat completely with emojis. You can't even talk and say anything in it because it's full. Well, they get away with it till YouTube catches up with it, Josh. Since COVID, there's been so many people that have joined YouTube, out of boredom, I guess a lot of it, that YouTube is just overwhelmed with trying to keep up with it. I've heard people say that, they've done something and then it will go a couple weeks and all of a sudden it gets deleted and they get told, that was wrong. They couldn't do it. They, and say, well, why was it okay for 2 weeks? Well, it took YouTube 2 weeks to catch up with it because they've got such an influx of new people doing stuff. And most of what happens with YouTube and the chats and stuff is done by a computer, not by a person. That's why sometimes you'll see a comment that gets held for review, and you got to click to either allow it or hide it. Is that it, Ken? But the reason that it'll turn around and hide it like that is sometimes it's a simple thing that they spelled the word wrong and it looks like something else, and the computer picked it up as that's something else, and don't know the difference. That's why it gives you the option to either let it go ahead and hide it or allow it. Yeah, I've seen that too, IJ. So many people sub to them and have no intention of ever following the channel. And that's how some of these new channels, you see that, they go right up, high sub count real quick just because they get all these groups together that just go in and sub to everybody, but still never do nothing with it. And then some of the channels, you'll see somebody will come in that sub to them and start asking stupid questions about, what do you do? Have you ever tried this one? If you watch the videos, you would know all that stuff. But they've never watched one of their videos, even though they sub to them. John, it kind of sounds like she knows you. You're in trouble again. Hey, Maureen, about time you got here. You just getting back from shopping? Yeah, I've heard that too, Josh. But if they don't, come and watch videos and whatnot like that, what's the purpose of it? Because if YouTube goes back and finds out that they're just a phony, they delete them. Same thing at time, you lose your watch hours as time rolls past. If you don't have people watching your videos or at your lives or whatever. So that's what Marine is a fine wine. You guys are gonna have to give me a minute. I gotta go check the fire. I don't want it to go out while I'm sitting here running my mouth. I'll be back in a second. had to add more wood. Yeah, it was kind of dying down there, Mike, so I put another piece in. Okay, Alona. Glad you stopped by. Like I said, I'll check your channel out later. I'll go back and look at the chat a little bit while I was gone. Yeah, I think I was the second one to watch Josh's video today. Temperature right now, IJ, outside is 49. It's only supposed to go down to 40 tonight, but as long as I can play with the wood stove, it keeps my other heat running. You want to use up all my candy bar money? I don't think I've seen anything on TV on the news. Everything I've watched has been online. There's a lot of other, TV stations around the country that's talking about it, but I don't watch a lot of the news and stuff anyways. A lot of times I forget to even turn it over to it. I usually have it on one of the channels that has some of the older shows on. Like right now I've got CSI Miami on. I had heard that there were supposed to have been U.S. truckers going to the Fargo, North Dakota border crossing. There was a bunch supposed to be coming out of Kentucky going to Detroit. And the Canadians have been at several of the borders holding up traffic. I saw one the other day, and I don't remember where it was at, Manitoba, I think, that they had 3 semis wide on both sides of the interstate, and they were moving like at 3 miles an hour. Well, with you saying that, Ken, that's what I think with a lot of stuff that they do, though. To me, it always seems like they do that to cover up the taste of the actual what they're eating. Like when they eat balut, if you most everybody you watch that eats it puts a bunch of salt on it, and puts vinegar on it. I mean, they're killing the taste of the egg. I even asked one person once about why they did that. I said, "You do that just to cover the taste?" They go, "Yeah." I mean, if they don't like the taste of it and have to cover it up, then don't eat it. I mean, I would think vinegar would cover the taste of most anything you eat. I didn't think salt would. Now, if you take something like a radish, if it's really hot, you put salt on it, it don't taste as hot to eat it as it would without it. Yeah, that's true, IJ. But you get right down to it, there's not a lot to hot dogs. I mean, that's the garbage part of the meat that they would throw away otherwise, and we eat it instead. Yeah, but Josh, is he even saying anything now? Because the last I heard on it, there, him and his family were in an undisclosed location for safety. A few days ago, the comment was that he had to go into quarantine because he tested positive. And where he's saying it's only a few, I don't know where they got the information from, but they had another one posted the other day there that they did a survey on what people thought, either for or against the convoy, and it said 74% of the Canadians were for it. They were back in the convoy. Okay, that makes sense, IJ, because like when I used to hunt for rabbits or pigeons, either one, I would soak the meat in salt water in the refrigerator before I did anything with it, which takes the gaminess out of it. Hey again, Filipino. How are you tonight? Yeah, and I've never had the Philippine style spaghetti like you're talking about. I hadn't heard about that, Josh, but it seemed like somewhere a long time ago something similar had happened. I think here in the U.S. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, John. I always was told that get them around 17 days, they're not developed as much. The longer they wait, the more the bird is developed in them. Okay, you said it somewhere in the U.S., and maybe that's the one I was talking about, but I had heard that quite a long time back. Well, that stuff there, as far as them that the freight train stuff, that's stupidity for leaving it sit like it was. That's the same thing with all the damn shipyards and stuff. They got stuff sitting in containers, both in the yard and on ships offshore that haven't been unloaded yet because too many people are too damn lazy and don't want to work now. They're sitting home waiting for the next stimulus check. The government's made half this country just lazy as hell. When they first started that stuff, they were trying to encourage people not to be out and stuff because of COVID and whatever, and tell them that they didn't have to go look for jobs. They could stay home and draw their unemployment, whatnot. People took advantage of it. Florida finally, put their foot down on it, told them that if you're on unemployment, you had to be actively looking for work or they would cancel the unemployment. But there's still a lot of people that are sitting around with no income and just waiting for the next stimulus check to come out to do whatever. and they're still playing with that game there where the people that were renting and stuff couldn't be evicted because of it. So the property owners are just losing money, hand over fist because of the government. Oh, I agree, Josh. That's just like, them fighting it there. It started in California with all of the fast food places. They wanted $15 an hour. And then it spread elsewhere. Last election thing there they had, it was put on the ballot here to raise the Florida minimum wage to $15 an hour. I voted against it because, like, my opinion on it, it just hurts the poor people. If you don't have much money and the others are making $15 an hour, everything's going to go up because of it. You can't have a $2 menu at a restaurant anymore if you're paying the guy $15 an hour to serve it to you. So it just goes back to the old saying, the rich gets richer and the poor get poorer. But this year too, also Social Security and stuff had the biggest increase it has had, and I think they said 40 some years. Well, our federal minimum wage is only $7 and something, but the states are all raising. The state wages are higher. Hell, I remember back when I was working, minimum wage was $1.90. Well, hell, I used to do as much then as I do now. When the minimum wage was lower, everything else cost less. Gasoline was, say, less than 70 cents a gallon. And it used to be that diesel was cheaper than gas because it's a lower grade of fuel. Kerosene was even lower. Now it's just the opposite. Gas is the cheapest, then diesel, and kerosene's expensive. Yeah, Josh, everything in Canada costs a lot too. Your prices are way higher than ours. Well, Ken, the little Christmas tree air fresheners like they use in the cars and stuff? I used to work in the place in Watertown, New York that made those. I worked the night shift. Minimum wage then was $1.90. I got the night shift premium and worked for $2.10 an hour back then. And I thought I was making good money. I worked on a dairy farm for a few years, and agricultural doesn't have to pay minimum wage like other places do. I worked for $1.50 an hour there. I remember hearing my dad talk about that all the time. That when he was like in high school, he used to go and work. He was out working for somebody else, but they lived on a farm. You know, there were 7 kids in their family, and they lived on a small farm, so they already had a lot to do there. But he went to some other farm and worked for somebody else, putting hay, loose hay, in the hayloft at 50 cents a ton. It takes quite a bit of loose hay to make a ton. Ken and Mike, did the girls leave and go shopping? They both got quiet. Are they out having their steak? It's only 11 a.m. there. It's a little early for that, unless that's their late breakfast. That's got to be on your end, Josh. I didn't think it was buffering here. Okay, IJ. I'll drop you an email a little bit later about what we were talking about before. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking it was late there, but I forgot you're an hour earlier than me. The conversation's getting quiet again. One of the other things that IJ brought it up earlier today when we were talking, with the stuff going on with the convoy and stuff in Canada, and then the U.S. truckers, a lot of them going to the borders and doing the same thing. How much that's going to affect, shipping a product and stuff to where the stores are going to be emptying the shelves and some of them again. I mean, I pretty much figure it's only owner operators who are going up there. The big companies aren't going to let the drivers go, I would imagine. But the owner operators still carry a lot of product. Well, this has been going 2 hours. I didn't intend to be on too long. I can feel it in my throat. Conversation's also kind of slowed up, so I think I may go ahead and close this up. Call it a night for this one. Maybe I'll start doing some 10-hour silent live streams, see how many watch hours I get then. Okay, John. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this, guys. Appreciate you all being here. And I'll talk with you all next time. Y'all have a good night or good day, depending on where you are.